Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first channel Overexplain game. Today, I'm going to be joined by Babolutherking.
Hi guys.
Bubba's a newer Civ 5 player, but certainly capable of beating Deity AI. But today, what we're going to do is go through a game together. He's going to drive, and I'm going to try and share some of my game knowledge with you and with him. So we're going to upload this to both of our channels. So if you're viewing this on my channel, go and check him out. We'll put some links in the descriptions for you. He's a newer content creator, much like myself, but he's got some really great stuff. So yeah, definitely check him out.
Thank you very much for the kind words. Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I'm really looking forward to this, and it's actually my first big YouTube project. And yes, as you can hear, I got a little accent. So since I'm from Germany, so I hope you're forgiving. You're forgiving for any possible speech impediments. But yeah, I sure hope that I can actually put up with the English language for once.
No, I think you'll be fine, man. I think they struggle with my strong Australian accent at times as well. So
that was actually the first thing that I noticed about you was your accent. Like I was, I really have to like listen to it or get accustomed to it. But now it's just very, very normal for me to hear you. So
all right,
okay, perfect.
Shall we jump into the game?
Yeah, sure thing.
All right, so. We're going to play on what's considered the standard sort of multiplayer settings, so that this video can be applicable to both single player and multiplayer. So I'll just quickly run through them. We're playing on a Panzer map, small size, deity difficulty, quick game speed, starting in the ancient era, standard years 4 billion, standard temperature, standard rainfall. We're playing on low sea levels, which just gives us a little bit more space. Strategic balance, so that we're guaranteed our horses and iron and oil. Time victory turned off. Not that that's very likely in a single player game or a multiplayer game for that matter. We've decided to play with Germany.
Since it's fitting.
Because yeah, it's very fitting. It's also a Civ that is not extremely broken, but it's also pretty reasonable. Its game bonuses are pretty decent, and we can talk about those when we get into the start.
Sure.
Yeah, so
I'll just hit it and
no worries.
Hail, mighty Bismarck.
And we're not going to cheese starts either. We're going to play whatever we get this very first one.
Yeah,
oh wow!
This is looking great. Flat desert is my favorite.
Yeah, so we got the famous flat desert pearl start. So for anyone who doesn't know, and I don't know the exact reasons, but there is a higher chance that pearls spawn near desert. And pearls are one of the worst luxuries in the game. And flat desert, which it's not too bad. But desert tiles, obviously, without hills or floodplains, are pretty bad.
Yeah.
And against level 8 difficulty, there's no chance of getting Petra really either.
Not really. No.
So we could be in for a fun one.
Yeah, I mean, with our Luxes all being coastal, we may have a little hard time here.
We might I thought we could just talk about Germany. So if you hit escape and hover over the portrait down the bottom left, the symbol.
Here it is. Okay, so
yeah. So no, all good. So we've got like all the civs, we've got 3 bonuses, and our unique ability is a 67% chance to recruit a barbarian when we kill a camp, and we also get a little bit extra gold. So it's normally 16 gold, we get 25. This isn't always a very impactful bonus. In multiplayer games, it can be very impactful because you can start what's known as a tribute train, where you generate gold and you spend that gold on units, and then you use those units to generate even more gold, and it can snowball very, very quickly. and it's very powerful. Against level 8 difficulty, you generally can't tribute because the AI just cheats too much and just has far too much military. So it is probably a benefit. We'll get some extra gold, and we'll also get some free units, hopefully, and which means that we won't need to build as many ourselves. But it's not too impactful. And then the other bonuses we have, if we just go to the tech tree, we have a unique bank replacement. Yeah, the Hanse. And the Hanse is very strong. Essentially, we get production for trading with city-states. And this is probably more relevant in single player than it is in multiplayer. In multiplayer, people will use the World Congress to ban trading with city-states. Almost always when you play Germany, you really have to prioritize Forbidden Palace and city-state allies to stop that from happening. But generally the AI is not going to do that. The AI likes trading with city-states, it likes gold. So we should be able to get quite a lot of production from a fairly early point in the game if we like. One synergy you'll note here is that we benefit from extra trade routes. So Petra and Colossus would be really nice wonders, but typically you can't get them against
like the early wonders are almost always taken. Like generally you can't really take anything before medieval unless you got like really lucky.
Yeah, so the one thing that we might be able to get is if the AI doesn't settle any coastal cities, we might be able to snag Colossus.
Yeah.
It's pretty rare, but we'll show you a trick with the scorecard so we can see if the AI has settled any. Actually, does that work on level 8 with all the extra units?
Yeah, with all the extra units, I'm not too sure. Usually it's when you go here and enable the on interface the single player or multiplayer score list, you can see. Oh no, I'm not sure if it works. They obviously haven't settled, but usually when you get like this score here, and if you settle a city inland with all tiles being land tiles, you get 25 score. Am I right?
Yeah, except so you'll get less than 25 if you settle next to coastal tile, a lake tile, or a marsh tile.
Oh, marsh tiles as well. I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, it's actually not perfect because people can settle next to marsh and you can think they're coastal when they're actually not.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I didn't know that for a long time either, but yeah, it's caught me out. So.
Okay, yeah. Okay. First thing I learned today. Perfect. So yeah, but I don't think you can see the AI already has like 24 score each with just having all those units already. They got workers, warriors, spearmen, I think, and I think they start out with 2 settlers or deity, right?
Yeah, they start with 2 settlers.
Yeah. So it's not really representative. There's I don't really know whether or not to check whether or not the deity actually settled coastal or not.
Yeah, I'm not sure if we can either. That's all right. And then the last bonus that Germany gets is a unique tank replacement, the Panzer. So Panzer's quite strong. It's got an extra movement, and it's also got, I think it's an extra 10 combat strength. So when we get to late game, we could potentially do a tank timing. It's definitely a suboptimal play in single player, but it could be a fun way to end the game if we're feeling that we're confident and we're far enough ahead that we can do it. In multiplayer, tank timings can be a real thing, but we'd really have to cover that in a separate video. Yeah. They're very specific and very all-in sort of strategy. Yeah, so that's our civilization, and it doesn't really educate our start all that much. Our civ doesn't really impact what we're going to do with this start.
Yeah. Does Germany actually have a starting bias? I don't really...
Do you know? I'm not actually positive.
I think they
I'm going to Google it real quick.
Yeah, sure. I think they might have Avoid Tundra, which obviously didn't work out. But I'm not too sure. I don't think they actually have a starting bias. I may have gotten ahead of myself here.
So Civ Fanatics is saying they don't have a start bias.
Okay.
And that's interesting, actually. No start bias is usually one of the worst start biases because you get dumped on whatever's left over.
That's how it works. So the map generator actually checks for starting biases and then puts them down, and the civs that don't have any starting bias are left out, or
they get placed last. Yeah. So the way it works is the map's generated. Venice gets placed first. They have a super bias. They almost always spawn coastally.
Okay.
Then the coastal civs go next, I believe, and then all of the other biases go, and then anyone who doesn't have a bias goes last.
Okay.
Yeah, that's. And they pick.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's okay.
I just want to.
So they.
Please, sorry. So go ahead. It's hard with a little lag. Please go ahead. I'll be listening now.
Yeah. No worries. It's all right. We'll get used to it. So they basically the AI picks a spot that is theoretically balanced. There is some sort of point system that's assigned with the average yield that's within a certain distance of your city. But as we all know, that balancing's pretty damn bad, and you can get some. This start's not the worst, but it's not great either.
Yeah. So.
All right. You were going to say something.
I was just going to say that the no starting bias really worked out for us. Your flat desert with tundra inside is really, and like 2 hills, really good, really good.
All right. So the first thing we should always do is move our warrior.
Yep.
And we pretty much want to move in a way that reveals the most tiles that are going to influence our decision. So what I mean by that is there's a 0% chance we're moving off the coast here.
Yeah.
Like, even if we found Uluru, I don't think I would move off the coast here. So there's no point revealing inland tiles. Yeah. So that means we're either going northeast on the oasis, or we're going southeast
here. Yeah.
So
given that there's tundra down here, I think I would prefer going up.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. The other reason that I like going up is that the ruins that are to our south are likely to be safer from the AI.
Yeah. 100%.
So we can scout those last. I really don't think we're going to see anything that's going to suggest we should move, but let's move and we'll find out.
There's a kettle here, but it's in reach of the city.
Yeah, that's nice. So there is a mountain, but it's not worth moving for a mountain.
Yeah, we'd lose the wheat as well, so.
Yeah. And just one thing that's good for any newer viewers is Bubbo's moving 1 tile at a turn with his scouting, and that's so that you don't accidentally slam a unit in the fog of war that you can't see. Also gives you better decision making. You can move 1 tile and then change your decision of where you're going to move.
Yeah. So, because it happened one too many times to me that I actually slammed my scout into the fog of war, and there was a barbarian unit there, and my scout died. So yeah, I'm not doing that anymore.
Yeah, we've all been there. Yeah. It's not a good feeling.
Yeah, but sometimes I forget to move 1 by 1. But since we're trying to play perfectly here, I'll try to stick with it.
Yeah, actually, perfectly is an interesting sort of concept too, because to me, there's 2 ways to play Civ in terms of single player. There's playing with the highest percentage chance of winning, or there's playing with a lower % chance of winning, pushing for the fastest possible victory. They're the 2 ways I play.
Okay.
So it's basically a question of how risky and how greedy we want to be. And I think here today, what what we want to do is go for our highest percentage win chance. I think that makes the most sense for the viewers. Yeah. I wouldn't want to sort of be super greedy and then just get punished and be like, all right, well, we lost. So.
Yeah. Okay. So the question is, do we settle in place here?
Yes. I can't see any reason to move.
We got production tiles in our first ring and a great food tile in our first ring. So I don't think we should move either. So
Yeah,
I'm just gonna hit B and settle down. Any last words? Okay, we'll do.
Nah, go for it. So, as you said, we've got hills for our settlers in our first ring. We've got a good food tile. We're settling on a tile that's otherwise useless too. A flat desert tile's no use to us. We have fresh water. We're 2 tiles from all our luxuries. This one's a pretty easy settle in place, I would say. Do you want to explain the production trick?
Yeah, sure. So the way you can see that since our city has 1 population right here, we can assign one of our citizens, 1 population, to 1 tile. So if we got 2 populations soon, then we can assign another citizen. So what we're doing here is we're going to click this twice. So we're locking it down, and then we'll switch to production focus. The way production focus works is every round, the food is being counted first. You see there's food, gold, science, faith, culture, and production. And I'm not really sure on the exact order in which they are calculated, but always on the end, like on the very beginning of the round, the food is calculated. So it determines whether or not we grow. So if we were to grow here, our food would be calculated first and we'd spawn a new citizen. So one of those tiles would be assigned by our governor, and if it's on default focus, I don't actually know what it goes for. Does it go for gold or for?
It just goes for the highest yield tile.
Oh, the highest
which is usually a gold tile. Yeah.
So it could give, if we were to grow and would have it on default focus, there's like probably 50% chance whether or not it spawns on the fish or on one of those hills. So, but we want the production focus, since if it were to, the new citizen were to work this fish tile, but the food for the round is already counted, so we would get no benefit out of that. But by setting our city on production focus, the new citizen will, hopefully, I mean, sometimes I've had like a bug, but I think usually it should. Yeah, sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
No, that's okay. So I can tell you, there's 2 reasons why it won't sometimes grow to whatever focus you've chosen. The first one is it won't go to stagnation or to
starvation.
So if we were working a 2 food tile here, it wouldn't grow to a 2 hammer tile because that would stagnate. Yeah, that's right. It would stagnate. The other reason that it can happen is there's a certain point, and I don't know exactly what it is, but if the yield is so great, much greater than the given tile, so like we've got a 2 hammer tile here, but say we had cyanide, if the yield is so much greater than the one we've chosen, it will still grow to that other tile anyway.
But that's very rare, I think.
Yeah, it's super frustrating when it happens, but yeah, it's not common at all.
Okay. So
yeah,
and now that we've got this on production focus, as soon as our new citizen spawns, the AI, like the city management AI, will automatically assign it, with those 2 exceptions, automatically assign it to the highest production tile, which would be one of those 2 hills here. And now, since the food has already been calculated, but the production has not, we actually gain 2 production from just putting our city on production focus, since we can then, when we can actually assign the citizen, we can actually just reassign it and not lose those 2 productions because the AI already calculated them for us.
Production choice here, I think we're both going to say the same thing.
100% the scout.
Yeah, it's pretty rare that you don't go scout first. Sometimes if you've got like 5 salt, you can justify building a worker first.
Yeah.
If you've got a special civ bonus, I know some people will build a stele first as Ethiopia. But yeah, it's pretty rare.
Yeah, I think scout is always the best option, since you just want those ancient ruins for one, because you can't, like, I don't know if there is any ruins like down here, over here, and the scout will just let me uncover them fairly quick. And I want information on where to settle. That's the second part. So information is very, very important.
Yeah, exactly. And then the last choice we have for turn 0 is our technology. The default here is pottery for a Pantheon, but I don't think we actually have a particularly good Pantheon here. If we just go back and look at the start, how many desert tiles are we actually going to work?
We've got 4 desert tiles, and we're going to work 3 of them.
Yeah, we'll work 3. So the base tile of the city, the hill, and the oasis. 3 faith per turn is not enough faith to get a Pantheon versus the AI.
A religion, you mean?
A religion. So the other option that I'm seeing right now is fishing boat hammers.
Yes.
And if we go for, that's all right. And if we go for fishing boat hammers, we don't need it super early because we're not actually going to build the fishing boat super early.
Yeah.
So we don't actually need to prioritize the shrine as quickly as we can necessarily.
Okay. Yeah, I usually always go pottery first, except for like with Ethiopia, I sometimes go animal husbandry first because the stele just produces 2 faith per turn instead of the 1 for the shrine. But I actually agree with you here. I never really thought about it that way, that we don't prioritize our Pantheon, because that's what I usually always do. I always try to get a religion, but against the AI, it can be very frustrating, yeah.
Yeah, so there's a chance that we have expands that have desert tiles. We don't know that right now.
Yeah.
And if we do have an expand that has desert tiles, we've got a reasonable chance of getting a religion, I would say. If we get an expand down on something like turn 20 and it's working, it's settled on desert and it's also working a desert tile, we'll be making 5 faith per turn plus the shrine, so 6 faith per turn pretty quickly. So we are, if we choose not to go pottery, we are, giving up the chance of getting a religion based on whether we can pick desert faith or not. I wouldn't pick it just for these 3 tiles.
Yeah.
So
how much faith per turn do you deem as realistic to actually compete for a religion? Like with just your Pantheon?
Versus the AI, it's sometimes like 4 religions will go on like turn 30. Like
that happens.
The AI just cheats really hard, and sometimes you just haven't got a chance. If you go to victory conditions, does it show us which civs are in the game? No, it doesn't. No. All right. So in multiplayer, we'd know who was in the game, and we could. So, for example, if Ethiopia and Celts were in the game, I would just give up on a religion.
Yeah.
Like right now, I'd just forget about it.
Yeah, 100%.
The other thing that we can do is, so we're talking about the benefits of going pottery, but we can weigh them up against the benefits of the other choice. And the other choice here is animal husbandry. And animal husbandry is going to give us a plains horse tile, you can see with our start.
Yeah.
There is in fact not a single grassland tile.
Could it spawn on this one here?
Where, sorry?
Could it spawn on this tile here? Because I thought the strategic resources were within the first 3 tiles to your starting location?
2 tiles.
2 tiles. Okay, 2 tiles.
So they'll spawn. So the horses and the iron will spawn within the first 2 tiles where possible. If it's not possible, it will spawn further out, but generally it's 2 tiles.
Okay. So, yeah, it's going to give us horses. So what do you reckon? What are we doing here?
So a plains horse tile actually doesn't do a lot for us because we're going to be working the oasis and the fish until we're at 3 pop. And then when we build settlers, we will work the plains tile, but we're not going to need it for a while.
Yeah.
So I think we can tech pottery here, even though we're potentially not going to build a shrine.
Okay.
That's the took us 5 minutes to get there, but I think
that's the gist of it. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
So
perfect. So,
I just wanted to sort of pottery is a very default choice, and I just wanted to sort of highlight that sometimes it's not correct.
Yeah. Yeah.
And even here, I think it's correct, but it's not correct because we're going to build a shrine. It's just correct because we want the opportunity to build a shrine if we find a reason to later.
And a granary comes with it, so it's actually not too bad.
Yeah.
Quick question. It says that we've got 23 points right now. Shouldn't it be 24? Or is it -2 score per coastal tile?
I'm not actually sure. So I know that the lower your score, the more exposed you are to frigates, basically, is the way I think about it.
Yeah.
Because that's what matters in a multiplayer game. But in terms of the exact calculation, I'm not actually sure.
Okay, so I guess I just hit next turn, right?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go. The thing I would do here is go further up the coast, up to this forest here.
All for it. Yeah, it looks good.
So do we actually go up here?
I would go left just because the warrior is going to be very slow across all
one
those
turn,
hills.
2 turns, 3 turns. That's what I thought. So I'm actually going here.
Yeah.
This doesn't look too bad.
Yeah, so I'm seeing a coastal expand on the mountain. It's going to get 1 sheep, 1 cattle, and 1 fish potentially.
Yeah.
So what we're trying to do here is first we're trying to move our scouts to end their turn on hills. That will reveal the most number of tiles. And then the second thing that we're really doing is we're looking to define our borders essentially. So we want to understand where our opportunities to expand are, and that's defined by 3 or 4 things. So coastlines define our borders. We obviously can't settle in the ocean. Mountain ranges define our borders. We can't settle on the opposite side of a big mountain range generally. City-states define our borders. You don't generally want to settle on the other side of a city-state. And then other players, in this case the AI, define our borders. So that's the priority of what we're sort of looking for here is where are we going to expand.
Yeah, and you're very correct about the hill. If I hover over this here, it says that it's terrain, forest, grassland, hill. So that's why the two options the only two options I suggested were moving here or here because I could see that it was a hill. So we could have obviously moved here as well, but as Rough said, we always want to in the early game in the scouting we always want our scout to. Or our scouting unit, obviously, this is a warrior. We always want them to end up on hills because you get way more sight. Okay, so do we move north on this hill or south on this hill?
So we move 1 tile first, and then
obviously.
We can make a more educated decision. So we want to move in a concentric circle, and I might put a graphic on the screen if I get really keen with the editing. Because the ruins spawn in a pattern, basically going concentrically around our starting tile.
Just enlighten me. What exactly does concentrically mean?
Circular, more or less.
Oh, okay.
I'll try and do a graphic.
Okay.
But basically, we're gonna have 3 scouting units, and we sort of want to. Yeah. All right. The graphic will help. Hopefully.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Now I'm committed.
Yeah.
Now I'm committed. I have to do it. I'll hate myself later, but anyway, doesn't matter.
The viewers will love you for it.
Yeah. All right. What I'm seeing is the Northern Hill has too much rough terrain, so we can actually just go directly west here. I don't think going...
I think we can actually see a mountain here. So, yeah. I think... You actually want to go here?
I think, yeah, because I don't think that hill to the south is actually going to show us anything much more beneficial. Because our other scout's going to come out next turn and it's going to head directly west.
Yeah. Okay, so I'll move here.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, the movement, as soon as you move over a river in the early game, it ends your movement, and as soon as you move up on a hill, it ends your movement, unless you have a scout. They don't take terrain penalties. Oh, so there goes the first Pantheon. Yeah, the AI really likes this Pantheon.
Yeah.
They often go for it.
Yeah, it's terrible, guys. Don't pick it.
Yeah, don't pick it. Okay, so now we've got our scout. Let's handle him first. Oh no, actually, as you can see, the production focus worked, and our city grew to this tile here.
Yeah.
And now we can just reassign it without any penalty to our production for this for last round. We still got those 2 production nailed down.
Yeah.
And so you said directly west. I would actually move here, I think.
What I'm thinking is we're going to send 1 scout north along the coast.
Okay.
I think that's a given.
Yeah, 100%.
And I think we're going to send the other scout west-ish in general.
Okay.
What I'm quite willing to do is to leave the tiles south of us till last, because they should be protected from the AI.
Yeah.
So we can move 1 tile onto the hill, and then we'll see what we see, and that doesn't really help.
Yeah, we'll just
move
straight west, right?
Yeah, because the southwest. All right, so we've revealed some marbles, so that's our first potential expand, somewhere settled within 3 tiles of that.
Maybe
probably
here.
on that river hill, if I had to guess.
Yeah. So what do we do with the warrior? Move on the bison first, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So there's our first ruin.
Yeah. So we want to cross the river this turn.
Obviously. But to which tile? Because they're both in range of the ruin next turn.
Yeah. So there are some ruins that will remove all of your movement, in which case taking the movement this turn is beneficial. So we could go to the northern tile and then move 2 tiles to the ruin next turn. But it's only an upgrade ruin, so it's pretty rare. So I think either is really fine here.
I'll just go with my gut and move north then. So maybe we can cover some more tiles up here. See, there's another ruin.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we actually.
Yes.
I think we go for that other ruin now, and the scout can pick up the southern one.
Yep. I think so too. Okay, so we'll just put our production straight to another scout.
Yep.
So the reason why we're working food here is because we want our city to grow, so we can work more tiles. And since our city won't grow when we're producing settlers, which we later will, we want as many citizens as possible right now, so that we can work as many production hills, production heavy tiles later on. So that's why we wouldn't. Obviously, it would work quicker. It would only take 3 turns for the scout if we were on the hill. But we prioritize food and growth in the early game.
Growth is good.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I just moved instinctively.
No. It's fine. I think we've explained the scouting principles now, so we can sort of speed them up a little bit.
Yeah. I'll actually go here since I don't think we'll get any new information from here. It's going to take us 2 turns to get there either way.
Yeah.
So we may just go onto the Mars sugar.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. And you can see through the edges of the fog of war. So it is worth zooming in like that. You can see city-state borders. You can see Lake Victoria without actually scouting the tile. It's quite obvious.
And and there were mountains up here. I could see this thing here when we were standing on this tile earlier. So it was actually the right decision not to move there to begin with. Okay, I think we just prioritize the ruin now, right? We just move here.
Yeah, I agree.
And then we go for it.
Yeah.
Okay, now we
got
a map ruin, which isn't too bad in the very early game because you may be able to spot some more ruins, but generally not one of the best ruins, right?
Nah, I don't mind when it. The biggest problem I have with map ruins is we still have to scout those tiles that it hasn't revealed, so it sort of makes it redundant. But yeah, it's fine.
So now, for me, the obvious next pick in research is animal husbandry, because we want to reveal our horses, and we don't have any immediate need to build a mine since we don't have a worker or to chop forest. This actually reveals the horses for us. So that's what I usually pick as a second technology to research.
Yeah, so revealing horses here will give us our third tile for settler production. So that's what I want for sure.
Okay, we just go for the ruin, right? Do we actually move here first?
I would say no, because it's only one. I think it's one reward out of like 5 that actually removes all of your movement, so it's less common.
Okay, so let's hope that we don't get a pop ruin here.
Yeah, so that's a good point. My rule of thumb in multiplayer, at least, is to only delay picking up ruins for a pop ruin where we grow in 1 turn.
Okay, so
we're growing in
2 turns.
We're growing in 2 turns here. Now, sometimes that's just a rule of thumb, right? And you'll break those sorts of rules all the time, and it's actually not a terrible choice here. So what we could do is, if we go on the hill directly to the west, just to see if there are any scouts around from the AI, and I'm not seeing any. So we could greed this here and go onto the hill.
Yeah.
I'm feeling
confident. I think we should do it.
Yeah, the map ruin sort of helps us in that regard. There's not like a capital right there.
Yeah.
So I think we can greed it here.
So the reason why we don't want to risk a pop ruin is because we're growing in 2 turns either way. So the ruin could give us an additional population in our city, but we get that in 2 turns either way, which sort of makes it redundant, I think.
It does give you more total food, but it's definitely less impactful.
Yeah.
Like, we wouldn't have the time to grow to 4 pop before we wanted to start settlers. So yeah, now you could make the same argument about technologies. So in 2 turns from now, we're going to be 2 turns from finishing animal husbandry. And then we could lose, instead of getting a full technology worth from a tech ruin, we could get only 2 turns. But the population ruin is just so much more impactful that it's pretty much the only one that I will ever delay for. And in general, I try not to delay more than 1 turn.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you there. So I've got a question about the technology ruin. Because sometimes when I actually discover a new technology in a ruin, it's not always the technology I'm researching. Sometimes it's mining, sometimes it's sailing at this turn. So do you know how exactly that works? Does it give you a set amount of science, or?
No, so it'll just give you any technology from the ancient era that you can research currently.
Okay.
So that's actually another good point. So by researching pottery, it's given us the access to the most number of 2nd-tier technologies, which does just slightly increase the chances of getting a more expensive technology. That's not really worth thinking about. That's a super, min-max decision that is almost never impactful. And also, if we get calendar here, say, calendar's not very useful because we don't need calendar.
Yeah, we don't have any resources for it.
We don't have any benefit of it. So it's not super impactful. So, but basically it will pick, any tech that we have access to.
Okay. So where do we move the warrior? I think you can see mountains here, so it would be pointless of moving him here. So I think the hills are best choice, and maybe then continue to the northeast.
I think the rough terrain to the north is too problematic for the warrior.
Okay.
We want to stay fairly close to home. We're going to be building a worker next, so we're going to need to be around to protect it. Sorry guys, that's my dog in the background. I hope that's not coming through. Yeah, I would just go directly west.
Onto the sugar again?
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect.
But that's fine. We don't have to play exactly how I would play it.
No, but I just, I got a vague idea, and you just really weigh the pros and cons, and I really like that. So I really don't mind playing the way you tell me, at least for now. So we're just gonna send this guy north along the coast.
Yeah, north along the coast for sure.
So
we delay one more turn here.
we could actually just move on with the scout and take the warrior to pick up the ruin next turn.
I like that. I like that a lot.
Okay.
I wouldn't have thought of that, and I think that's superior. Good call.
Thank you. So the scout, where do we move that?
Yeah, so I'd go northwest, reveal those couple of tiles we haven't seen. So here's another good tip. So the Barbarian camp will spawn its first unit on its 10th turn. So when we end our 10th turn, it will spawn. So we've got time to stay within range of the camp. So I'm actually tempted to move the southwest tile here.
Here, okay.
And then we can potentially sneak past the camp before it spawns.
Okay. Not much information gained, but yeah.
No, that's fine.
Okay, so now's the big question. Do we build a shrine, or what do we do from here?
All right, we've revealed no workable desert tiles.
No.
So I don't think we want a shrine. I think we want a worker, because we haven't revealed a city state or an AI.
Yeah, that we could steal off of, yeah.
We want to steal a worker as soon as possible, and because right now it appears we can't steal one, I think we just need one as soon as possible.
Yep, 100%. Okay. Oh, actually met Udika.
Yeah.
She's coming. So now we take the ruin.
Yeah. Come on, pop.
It's a pop ruin. Can you imagine that? Okay.
GG, we win. Game over.
That's actually good. Yeah, let's go.
That justifies a 20-minute discussion.
Yeah, you have a point.
Okay.
Okay, that actually went very well.
Yeah.
So we can afford to stagnate now, which is totally fine with us.
And we should.
Yeah, this actually just brought down our worker from 11 turns to 6 turns. So that's
huge.
Not too bad, yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay, this is the easy move. Okay, that's
unfortunate, but there's nothing we can do about it.
Yeah.
So one trick here that we can do, I'm not sure if you know this one, we can zone out the Celtic Scout and increase the chances that we might be able to snag another rune. And so the way that we do that is we want to move to a tile that's 2 tiles from the Scout.
Okay.
So that it can't move there.
Ah, I see. So that would be here or here, right?
Yeah, so I'm thinking about going south. Yeah. I'm feeling like we're not going to get around north.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking that we go the south.
Do we
southwest tile
next to the camp first or up here?
I think we want to go west because that'll reveal the 2 tiles to the west.
Oh, there's salt there. Yeah, was the right call. And now we'll move here.
Yeah. So that sort of zones this. If the scout moves directly south, and it may not, it may move north or east, or it could go anywhere. But if it moves directly south, we're going to be in front of it, which means we're going to get the ruins.
Yeah.
Whereas if we'd gone directly west, it would be in front of us.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay.
That's the logic. So with our city, we should just check what tiles we're working. All right, and we're stagnant, which is fine. Now, we could actually starve here. So if a barbarian galley, that would definitely starve us. We don't want to do that. If a barbarian galley moves within, I think it's 2 tiles of that.
Sorry, I just understood. I thought you meant, we could actually afford to starve here, but you meant with a barbarian galley moving there. I was like, we could, but what benefit does it bring us? But yeah, okay. Now I get what you're saying. Okay.
So that camp to the north, not this turn, but next turn, could spawn a galley. And that galley could move 4 tiles, 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm not positive, I think that would be in range of the fish. And then we would starve and we would be super unhappy.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to get away with it because are we growing to the wheat next turn? If you jump into the city,
we will.
yeah, all right. So I think we can risk it this turn. I don't think it's gonna like the camp won't spawn, so we're safe.
Yeah.
But if I would spend the 30 gold to get that wheat tile one turn earlier, if it was turn 10 right now.
Yeah. Okay.
Solely for the risk of that
losing that population again. Yeah. Sure.
Yeah, it's super impactful. It would be awful.
100%.
The other thing you can do if you want to avoid that and you literally don't have a tile to buy is to build a settler.
Yeah.
Because you can't starve when you're building settlers. So just something to keep in mind. Actually, the last thing that you should do, which we should do, is we should actually now change to food focus in our capital.
Why?
So whenever you're stagnant, if you've got no food towards your next population point, which we don't here, like if you go back into the city and hover over the food, it's actually 1 of 29. So we have got 1 food, but we don't actually have a 1 food tile to work. So we would still starve here if that 2 food tile was taken away from us.
Yeah.
And so what would happen is it would reassign a tile, and if we're on production focus, it will prioritize the production tiles. It doesn't seem to be 100%. Sometimes it won't starve, and sometimes it will starve. If you've got access to a food tile that would prevent you from starving.
Okay.
Right here we don't. So we would starve 100% of the time.
Okay.
But yeah,
we'll take the chances. I think they're low enough that we can just justify.
Yeah, we can here.
So there are our horses. Now we've grown here, and we can unwork this tile and work this tile because it's just a way better tile. It has not way better, but it's just a plainly better tile. It has 1 more food.
And we can actually go one better. The 2 food tile doesn't benefit us, so we can work the one tile.
Oh, you've got a point.
And
yeah,
stagnant.
Sure.
That 1 food is not impactful right now.
Doesn't make any difference for us. So do we actually go here?
I would. I think they're both mountain tiles, but let's just move 1 tile and check. All right. But that's good. We revealed the pearls by doing that.
Yeah. Okay, so now what I would do here is have the warrior actually move down here and swing back to the capital.
Yep, I agree.
So I would probably move him here first because it's going to limit our movement to here and here for the next turn, and obviously all those tiles. So here we can actually get here next turn, right? Yeah.
Yep, sounds good.
So what about the scout?
So I wasn't paying attention to the Celtic scout when it moved away.
Disappeared, and we can't radar, sadly.
But just something for people to know is you can actually see the graphic move into the fog of war. So we could have, if we were paying more attention, we could have actually known which direction it moved in.
I think it actually moved. It was here before. I think it's actually here. I think I remember seeing it now that you say it.
Yeah.
So
okay.
I'd say it's here.
Is that a border on the salt if you zoom in? Is that what I'm seeing?
No.
No, it's our movement line.
Yeah, it's our movement line, yeah. So because it actually shows that movement line because I've got the enhanced user interface mod installed, which is like if you actually want to play Civ, this is just such a great quality of life improvement. Yeah, I hope you already have it installed, but just for those of you who are wondering why my user interface may be different from yours, that's the sole reason.
Yeah, it's great. I highly recommend it too.
100%. Onto the wheat.
Yep, looks good.
And we actually uncover 1 more salt. This would be an insanely good city right here.
Yeah, but I think that's someone's regional.
Yeah.
I don't think we get to settle that, unfortunately.
Yeah, I don't think so either. But we'll see. I'll move on to the hill here, right?
Yeah, yep.
Yeah, good. They're the Celts, so
okay.
bye-bye this spot.
Yeah. All right. So we might have lost some ruins in
Down
the
here.
fog of war.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's okay. There's not much we can do about that.
Okay, so what do we research next?
All right. So the next thing that we need to start thinking about is our luxury. So here it's sailing. Now, the question that we have is, can we greed bronze working for iron? Because the iron will improve our settler production before sailing. Now,
so that'll be 8 turns.
So, and it's more than that because we'll then have to build a workboat.
Okay, yeah, sure. Didn't think of that, yeah.
We've also grown to 4 pop. So, and we've also not found a natural wonder yet. So, usually the most ideal way the game plays out is you grow to 3 pop. 3 pop's typically the best number of population to grow to for settlers. We're only 4 here because we got that lucky pop ruin. Highly calculated, but also lucky. So if you go to 3 pop and you find 1 natural wonder, you have 4 happiness, which means you can settle your expand, and you have 5 turns to grow before you grow if you're working a 2 food tile. And if you're working a sheep, you have 10 turns. And working a sheep in the very early game like that is quite nice. It's perfectly acceptable. So, but that's not the case. I think almost no matter what we do here, we're going to go unhappy anyway.
Yeah.
So I think we actually do greed iron.
Yeah, 100%. So I'll just pick mining, and I'll just pick bronze working straight away. Yeah. Next Pantheon goes, and it's culture from pastures. So no faith Pantheon yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, those were obviously the Celts. So if you see a Pantheon go by this quickly in multiplayer, you'll most definitely know that someone either found a religious city-state on like turn 3, or the Celts are in the game because they're just ridiculously quick with their Pantheon.
So we can potentially steal this worker here.
Oh, okay.
So yes, the AI gets a massive advantage. But sometimes when you find them super quickly, you can abuse them. So if we move onto the salt.
Onto the salt? Not onto the hill?
Yep. No, I want to move onto the salt because I can see that there's coast to the west. So I want to see what the... Alright, so this is an expand.
Yep.
Okay, it's not the capital. And we see 0 units. But we also see that the city is settled on a hill, which means its city shot is stronger.
Yeah.
Okay. So the next thing I want to do is I want to move the warrior because I want to see if I know where, if the Celtish capital is to the south of us,
then
we probably can't war deck them. But let's move. Yeah, we'll move here and we'll see if we see anything.
Oh, a city state actually. And
all right, but there's a warrior there too. So potentially, if we take the worker, the warrior is going to stop us from getting back home.
Yeah.
So
there's barbs up here, a archer and a brute.
All right. So what I'm seeing here is I don't want to take it this turn. I'm going to hedge and I'm going to move southeast, and I might take it next turn.
Okay.
Yeah,
we have to move this back.
There's no way we get through that, so we just come back. All right, so yeah, we can meet the city-state. All right, so we've found a city-state, which is good because we're going to steal a worker from the city-state as well. It looks pretty unlikely that the capital is south, so we could move down again.
Here?
Yep. And that other scout, I think we want to move around the mountain range.
Yeah.
Where we decided not to go with the warrior earlier.
Yeah.
All right. I think we can greed this worker.
Okay.
I think it's... I'm pretty confident that the Celtic capital is not to our south in the fog.
Yeah.
I think it's north towards the salt somewhere.
Yeah.
So
I'll take your word. I'll take your word for it. Let's do it.
so let's just think about this for a second.
Okay.
So we've got the Celtic warrior, which is going to move to where our scout is next turn. That's pretty much a guarantee, right?
Yep.
We're going to take a city shot on the scout. That's pretty much a guarantee.
And they got the strongest city combat strength.
Oh, did they?
Yeah,
All
they
right,
do.
yeah. All right, it won't kill us. And the other thing we've got is the barbarian camp.
Yeah. So where would we move to evade?
I think we would have to go north. And I think we're potentially, by going north, we're going to move into their capital. So it's kind of close. It's borderline for me. And the other thing is that I doubt we can check if the AI has trapping by checking the tech cost.
Yeah.
So if we hover over trapping, we can see that it's 38.
They actually don't.
They don't. So that worker can't improve the furs next turn.
Yeah.
So it's going to move back into the city.
Yeah. So
it's going to. So the other thing we can do is we can hedge. We can wait another turn. We can see where the warrior moves, and we can potentially nab it a little bit later. The city's going to expand to the salt pretty soon.
Yeah.
So
would it be wise to move up on the hill here, or would you suggest?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Okay.
If we move up on the hill.
I think that warrior could severely hinder us on getting the worker home safely, so I think we should wait. Yeah, I agree with you on that.
Yeah, so we just wait a turn or two, and we might get lucky and get the opportunity to take it, and we might not too, and that's fine.
Okay, looks good. Just if you guys aren't clear what we did just here, so you can actually, with every civilization you've met, if they've already researched technology, you can check the tech cost. It says 38, 38, 38, 36. So we know that the Celts, since they are the only Civ that we've met, already have researched the wheel and bronze working, because it's 36 as well, and all the other techs are 38. Which doesn't mean that no other Civ has already researched them, but we just haven't met them yet, so we don't benefit from that little bonus that gives us the technologies on a cheaper rate. Yeah, it moved into the city.
Alright, and we've got a hand axe, that's fine. So this is a good one too. Ruins can't spawn on snow.
Yeah.
So there's very little benefit in scouting snow. So we can just move north with the scout here. On the other hand, the warrior. Yep.
You here?
Yeah. Yep. I think we'll scout the west a little bit. I'd hang around with that scout for a little while.
For sure.
And then we can scout all of Kiev's tiles to see if they've got a worker yet. So we go on the deer. And then I go on the dyes. All right. Is it coastal?
No. Yeah, I actually can't really see it. I think it
we
might
can check
be...
its luxury. If you click on the city state, it's dyes, so it's probably not coastal. It may be, but it's a pretty terrible city anyway.
Yeah, it is. So we'll just check we'll just move on to the hill next turn. So we should.
Yeah.
Then we know for sure. So the scout, I'll just put him around like here.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
direction.
I think so.
Okay.
All right. So. All right. This is the first thing we can talk about. All right. So they've already got 2 salt improved. So that's actually really important. We want to acquire a copy of that salt, and right now we have nothing to offer.
Mm-hmm.
So we're probably going to lose that salt. Another AI will probably trade it away. Not much we can do about that, but just so we're aware.
Yep.
We can sell our embassy to the AI. We should do that, but there's no point doing it now. We won't really benefit from the gold now.
Okay.
And it would also tell the AI where we are, and we don't want to do that.
Okay.
Celts is also quite an aggressive AI. So we need to be conscious of that.
Okay.
So we can refuse here, and we'll probably sell it later once we're a little bit more comfortable. one other thing that we've got, so we're talking about potentially war decking them here. A really nice trick you can do is in the super early game, like now, they're not going to kill us. They're not close enough. Even if they built an army and moved it towards us, it would take at least 10 turns. And after 10 turns, this early, the AI will always accept white peace.
Okay.
And then what that does is that peace blocks them. So they can't war deck us again.
Yeah.
And they also don't... the way the diplomatic modifiers work is they don't resent the fact that we go to a really early war like that, as long as we don't like take cities or anything. So we've definitely got a chance here to take that worker.
Okay.
So yeah, let's scout that hill, see what's around, and let's check whether... All right, there's the capital. All right, that's fine. So basically, if we get a chance to run the scout with the worker, or potentially with the warrior directly east, we'll get away with it.
Okay.
You can see here that the city-state's got barbarians in its borders.
Somewhere down here, yeah. There's a barb camp that's just spawned a unit, I think, onto this tile, so it's probably going to be here.
Yeah, I saw that as well. So a worker won't move outside of the city-state's borders if there's a barbarian next to or within the borders of the city-state. So we can move on the hill and see if we can find the barbarian, and also check if this is coastal. It is coastal, but it's terrible. It's so bad, I don't think we could take that over. No. And also the AI really hates it when you kill city-states.
Oh, okay.
So that's another reason not to do it. I think if we took Kiev here, we'd pretty much guarantee that Celts would attack us and liberate it or take it.
Okay. So, but I can't seem to find the barbarian. Is this that they're under attack all as well? If the barbarian is adjacent to city tiles?
Yeah. So if it's adjacent to the cultural borders, so it'll be,
probably here, or it's not here.
We can radar now.
Yeah,
there you go.
Here. Probably.
Do you want to explain radaring?
Yeah, sure. So just correct me if I'm wrong. So if you've got a civilian unit, you can actually, by holding your right mouse button down, you can and just be sure to release it on the tile you're actually standing. Otherwise, you've moved the unit. So if you hold your right mouse button down, you can actually check if there's a unit on any tile that you intend to going to or moving on. So we know that there's a barb camp here, and barb camps are 95% of the time they're occupied. So we actually see that we cannot physically move here with our worker. So we know that there's a unit here. We know that it spawned another unit, an archer. So we can radar for that archer. And it's probably here. The archer is probably here, or that's the Celtic scout. We don't know that for sure.
We can even check with our scout.
Yeah,
proof of concept.
We will do just that, but I think we'll stay on this side of the river, though, right? We will see him from here as well. We got sight on that tile from here, I think.
We get sight from the hill as well.
So from here
we can go north. Yeah,
it's there. So just as we thought. So by moving here, that would put us in range of that archer.
We can afford to take one hit.
I think so too. I think so too. Okay, so what do we do with the worker in Berlin?
Okay, so we don't have... So your priorities are luxuries, which we don't have any because they're coastal. Chops, which we don't have any. That one chop. So you want to chop anything within 2 tiles of the city that you don't want to retain the forest tile for. Chops are a really great acceleration to your early game. So if you can imagine that we had a tile directly next to the city, we would get 13 production from that. And if we were building a settler, that's going to take off 1 turn generally. If you're building a granary in an expand and you chop it out, it can cut out like 4 to 5 turns. It can cut out a lot of turns.
I didn't know that. That's crazy.
Yeah, so if you think about it, if the expand has low production, let's say it's not on a hill and it's working in worst case a 2 food 0 hammer tile, it's got 1 production total.
Yeah.
So a granary I think is 50 production.
40.
So we're on quick speed here, so it's 40 here. So 13 hammers is a massive percentage of 40.
Yeah.
So it's really impactful. And what that means is that not only do you get 13 hammers, which is great, because that's 13 turns worth of production for a 1 production city.
Yeah.
By the way, a 1 production city is really bad. You don't really want to be working. You will, sometimes it happens, but just so you guys know, it's pretty bad. But second, it's also, in that case, it's 13 turns of yield from the granary. So that's 26 food you've just generated indirectly.
But you do receive less production if the forest that you chop isn't in your borders, right?
Yeah, so a forest that's next to your city is always going to be in your borders, and it's always going to give you 13 production. A tile that is two tiles from your city, I think it gives you 10 production if it's in your borders, and I think it's 8 if it's outside of your borders.
Okay.
And then after the second tile, it's not worth the early game chop.
Yeah. Okay.
So what you'll typically do with those late ones is once you've got all your tiles improved, you've got your roads up, and your workers are sort of struggling for something to do, you can send them on a chopping parade where you just chop everything, even the really bad chops that are worth like 2 hammers.
Okay.
Because they've got nothing else to do, right? So you might as well do it.
Okay. So where do we move here?
So we want to improve a production tile for our settler. That's the next highest priority thing that we can do.
Yeah.
Now, the hill next to the oasis is a freshwater tile.
So we may be able to build a farm on there.
So we can build a farm on there if we decide to. Now, our production is quite low in this city, and our food's reasonable. A lighthouse is going to be amazing for us. Yeah. So we may end up building a mine on that hill anyway.
The thing I'm thinking...
But we don't need to make that decision now.
Exactly. So if we go to the Plains Hill right here, our iron will be revealed in 4 turns. So, and I think we're very confident that our iron is either here or here, right? Yeah,
correct. It can spawn on plains, flat plains tiles, but it prioritizes hills. So it's almost guaranteed.
Yeah. So, and if our iron were to be here, we just wouldn't make any difference for us because we already have the mine there. If it were here and we had built a farm on there, which of course you have a point that we would probably build a mine either way because we got so like comparably little production here. But I think just to be on the safe side, I would just move to the plains tile. I mean, it just gives. It doesn't really matter if it gives 1 production if we build a mine. If it's and we'll be working both those hills when we're going for settler production. So I don't think it makes that much of a difference for us here, right?
Yeah. So there's a couple of thoughts. So not in this case, but in some thoughts. Okay, against the AI, you want to sell your iron to the AI. So we want to connect our iron. In a multiplayer game for my multiplayer people, we don't generally need iron. Swordsmen are a pretty bad unit. You generally build pikes over swordsmen. And the only thing you really need iron for is frigates, but that's a late game thing. So on rare cases where I have like really bad food, okay, I would potentially delay bronze working by 1 turn here to build a farm before the iron is revealed. Mm-hmm. So that means that you get the extra the 2 food. It will still work as a civil service farm.
Yeah.
And it will actually get the iron yield as well. So if you were to build a farm on that desert hill and then reveal iron, once you get civil service, that would actually be a 2-3 tile.
Yeah.
And if you're really low on food, that's much better than what would it be? It'd be a 4 hammer. Yeah, a 4 hammer tile. Now, that doesn't apply here, and I'm sort of hesitant of how many things that we explain that aren't actually relevant, but that could definitely be a thing here. If this was flipped, if we were low on food and high on production, I would do that here. I would 100% do that. It would be worth it.
Yeah. But just a quick question here. If we were to build that farm, it wouldn't connect our iron, right? Because iron can only be connected via great people improvement or via mine. Yeah,
that's correct.
Okay.
So, and that's the other point I was making. Against the AI, we want to sell our iron. 2 reasons: 1, it gets us gold, and 2, it gives us positive diplomatic modifiers, so that we can get buddy with Celts.
Okay.
So against the AI, you're probably never going to do it realistically. But I do want to try and make this applicable to both single player and multiplayer.
Yep.
So the other option we've got apart from that other hill is our horse tile. So when do we grow to our horse tile?
In 11 turns, but we may buy it right now.
We could buy it. So if we buy that tile, we are going to buy that tile because we're going to start settlers this turn, and it's going to be improved production for our settlers. So we can go ahead and buy that right now. In fact, I wasn't paying attention, but we could have potentially bought that earlier for more production towards our worker.
Yeah, probably.
That was probably a small mistake.
Yeah.
But that's fine. Don't ask me how many hours I have in this game. It's embarrassing, but I have a lot of hours in this game, and I still make mistakes.
Yeah.
So the reason to improve the horse tile is after we finish settlers, and I'm not sure how many settlers we're building here. I'm not actually seeing a lot of good spots.
Yeah.
We're guaranteed to be working the horse tile.
Yeah, 100%.
Whereas if that hill to our west is not our iron, we're probably not working it.
Yeah.
We're probably only working it if it's an iron tile. So
horse tile's the best play here. Yeah, I agree.
Now the other thing I was going to say, it's fine.
I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. It's totally fine. The other thing that I'm aware of is the barbarians. So I want to improve a tile that is most protected from barbarians. So we've got that camp to the north. And then we've got the camps to the west as well. So which one's better here? It's probably 6 or 1. It's probably much of a muchness.
Okay.
But just something to be aware of, I think.
Yeah.
If actually, what would be really interesting is when you radar to the left of that camp, the other one.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
No, that's all right. So if there was a barbarian there, it would be able to see our horse tile, but we wouldn't be able to see it because it's on a hill.
Yeah.
Right. And workers attract barbarians. So there's an AI. The way the AI works with the barbarians is they're attracted to city states, and they also. This is anecdotal. This is just my experience. I'm not a developer. I'm not able to mine the code. And a lot of the research that I've done online with mined code is inconsistent. But in my experience, the unprotected workers and even just units in general attract barbarians. So it's likely that it would move towards us. And that's a bad thing. I wouldn't want to attract a barbarian here because our warrior's probably not going to be back home in time to protect the tile. Because we're probably going to hang around and try and snag a worker, either from Celts or from Kiev,
100%.
or both. So, if Barbarian had been on that hill, I wouldn't have moved for the horses. But here, I think it's fine.
Okay. So I mean, we could still move to the desert hill, but I think horses is our best shot here.
Yeah, I think it's fine.
Okay, so now that we put a settler in our queue.
Yeah, and we're going to actually... Sorry, go on.
Yeah, no, I just... because I think we wanted to secure a spot like here, or maybe here, against the Celts. We don't know if they're going to settle. We want to secure that marble, basically, right?
Yeah, Probably. I want to see how close the capital is and count the tiles.
Okay.
So if the AI considers that marble to be it's within its region, it's going to get really salty on top of the salt that it spawned.
Was waiting for that pun, yeah.
Yeah. And on top of that, it's Celts, which is an aggressive AI. It's got a Pictish warrior, which is a strong early game unit. And it could potentially steamroll us.
Okay.
So
we want to see their capital first before settling here in case we could anger them and they may just go full apeshit on us. Okay.
We're going to queue up a second settler behind the first one.
Okay.
And this is so that we can't starve on the turn that we finish the settler.
That's actually pretty good advice. That actually happened to me. So yeah, the second settler is secure because we only have, like you said, we only have one food. So we're most definitely going to starve the turn after we finished our settler. So by actually getting that second settler in there, we're on the safe side. Yeah, fair point. Thank you.
Because we've got that second settler, we can afford to change our production focus to our focus to production. I don't think we can improve our production for our settler by working different tiles.
Yeah, we can. I mean, we can compare, but this is most definitely the same. Since we
and I don't. Yeah, and I don't think the OASIS will give us more production. It might be the same.
No, it's one less actually.
No, I was going to say if it was the same, we could work the OASIS for the gold, but it's not.
Yeah.
All right, so all good.
So we will take a hit from the archer here.
Oh, look at that caravan. I want the caravan and the worker.
And then
I'm a greedy boy.
Oh no, I thought it grew. Yeah. I mean, it's tempting. It's very tempting.
All right, we're not getting it this turn, so we can scout the capital.
Here?
Yeah, I think either's fine.
Yeah, there's the capital.
All right, that's fine. And then we can might as well scout northwest and see what we see. All right, so there's all the units.
Yeah.
And a third settler, cheating AI.
So
the other thing that we could do here is, it looks like that settler's going north, but if it was heading towards our marble and we desperately needed that, we could block it just by physically putting the scout in the way.
Yeah.
Not by war decking the AI, just by like literally occupying the tiles that it wants to move to and force it to move to additional tiles and move into rough terrain tiles.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping it's going north and we don't need to worry about it.
So you were talking about counting tiles. So how many tiles away from its capital does the AI consider invasive if you were to settle there?
It seems to be around 12.
Okay, so we can just count towards the marble, right?
Yeah. So
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
Yeah, so I think it would actually, and we don't particularly want to settle on the marble here. We want to settle on that river tile, the river hill.
Yeah, definitely here.
I think it potentially would not like that settle. And that doesn't mean we can't settle it. It just means that we want to settle it probably a little bit later.
Yeah.
Once we've got the ability to build a couple of units if we need to. If we settled that first and the AI immediately took offense to it, it could just roll over and kill it, basically.
There's nothing we can do because they're just so much stronger.
Yeah, they just cheat so much that there's our choices at the highest difficulty are limited to a greater degree.
Okay, so I'll just go ahead and put a pasture down here real quick.
Yeah.
And move the scout north.
Don't.
Sorry.
You're brave. It's all right. I've done it. We've all done it.
We were talking about this just earlier, and I was like, yeah, sure. I'll try to be wary, but now I just did it. Yeah, there could have been a barb here, and we could have crashed into it. That's exactly what we were talking about like 20 minutes ago. Yeah. So, okay.
That's fine. All right. So we can just leave the warrior there fortified, wait for this barbarian to die.
Now the
And then
big,
we've got a policy.
yeah, we got policy decisions to make.
So I don't think we actually really need to discuss this one.
Yeah,
it's just tradition.
Yeah, almost
it's
always.
Almost always tradition, yeah. Maybe if this goes well, we could do a Liberty game at some point. But I think that's a separate video.
Yeah, definitely. So if like you could talk for like probably 3 hours about the advantages and disadvantages of liberty, tradition, and all the other social policies. So that's going to take way too long. In general, just usually you always want to go tradition unless there is like a big exception. Okay.
Yeah, and what's that other Pantheon that's just gone?
It's Stone Circles, Faith from Quarries, which is actually a rather slow Pantheon, right? But I mean, with the AI, they have all their workers, so they're probably going to improve it like instantly.
Yeah, it's definitely on the slower side. All right, so we're somehow top of production, which is pretty crazy. Yeah, wait, yeah. Says that's funny. That other demo screen that come up must be a different.
I just clicked it away. Oh, sorry. Yeah, sure.
No, it's fine. I think from memory it might be production in the capital only, or something. I'm not 100% sure. I'm not a single player expert. I predominantly play multiplayer, and you don't get those screens in multiplayer. But I think it may be just limited to production in the capital.
Okay.
And that information doesn't really tell us anything here anyway, so it's fine.
Okay.
So
we take the scout.
Yeah, we can keep scouting.
There's bananas there. Okay, so what do we do with this guy? The caravan's probably gone here.
Yeah, I would go north one tile. I was hoping to see that settler, but that's fine. So it looks like it's going west.
Could we snag this worker? No, I think it's...
No, that worker would die.
Yeah, we die. Okay.
Alright, so I think... so I want to go northeast to scout, but I want to go east more to try and snag this worker.
Yep.
So we're gonna sacrifice some scouting for the chance of snagging a worker and a caravan.
Oh, there's that worker.
Yeah.
Okay, so now they grew to the salt. We actually have a pretty decent chance of snagging the worker here.
I think so.
So do we move here?
Yeah, so go one tile. And we can go, that's fine.
We'll just have this guy scout here, right?
Yep. Good.
Oh, there's actually another Lux in here, which... I don't think you can actually get through here, but... As you said, it's on the other other side of the mountain range, so it may not be ideal for us to settle, especially since we don't know if there's anything on our right here.
Yeah, we may be forced into it too, though. But we'll see.
Yeah,
it's okay. All right, so let's go next.
Yep.
That work is going to move out to. We could have. It's a small mistake. We could have actually moved to that deer tile last turn, but that's fine. We can move there now. That's fine.
Yep.
Not a big...
Oh, there's a caravan as well.
Oh, hey. All right. Let's move around the warrior.
Yeah, to here, right?
Yeah.
So there's that worker. There's another scout here, which isn't too fortunate. I'll just go along the coastline here, right?
I do want to see those 3 tiles.
So up on the hill here or here?
Yeah, you could go 1 tile and then see what the...
Yeah, okay.
that tells us everything we need to go. Perfect. So now we can just go... Yeah,
I'll move on to the spices. And there's another ruin, which is great.
That's nice, yeah.
But no passage through here. And we actually
it's a shame.
Sorry, and we actually discovered our iron, which gives us 1 more production in our capital right now.
Yeah, which is great. And you can see that because it's not on that western hill, putting the mine on that hill would have been suboptimal.
The farm, you mean?
The farm too, but also the
On the western hill. On the western hill. Yeah, sure. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
I just got didn't quite understand what you were saying. Okay, so what are we looking for to research next?
It's definitely our luxury, which is sailing.
100%. I thought so too.
There's no real decision there.
Okay, so it seems like the scout moved away. We can actually we can try to check.
Yeah.
It's probably down
there
here.
It is.
Yeah.
So it might zone us out. I think we've got this worker.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, go for it.
Where did Kiev's worker go? Was it snagged? Or did it actually just go here?
It must be on that hill.
Yeah. Okay.
That's a shame.
So
it's actually
Yeah,
so the reason it didn't move there before was because we were on the tile, which is sort of interesting. So we're going to lose the caravan if we declare war this turn. Hang on, no we're not. It's trading with the city-state.
It is, yeah.
And it's not AO'd, so we're going to get the caravan as well.
Oh, that's
so
great.
if you click on the caravan, it shows the path.
Yeah.
And you can see that we're in the path.
Yeah.
So the caravan moves 2 tiles, so it's going to move directly into our warrior.
And we'll automatically plunder it.
Just check the demos. Do we know what Celt's military score is?
We do not know.
Okay, if you go to the advisor screen.
Yeah, that's with V, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and then you can.
It's not to be
stronger.
So we should only consider the question and the most. Yeah, actually, that's what I learned that from one of your YouTube videos with the advisor screen with the military strength. That's actually, I didn't really think of it, but it's a very, very neat little trick to actually check that.
Yeah, it is nice. So I'm just looking for any reason not to do this.
The scout won't be in range, the warrior isn't in range, we'll snag the caravan, and we'll only take 1 shot from the city, so I think we're pretty safe here.
Yeah, I agree. So let's do it.
Let's do it.
And she's grumpy, of course, but that's fine.
So we need to keep our warrior here for 1 more turn, though? Otherwise we won't get the caravan?
Yeah, so the only spot if the trade route was heading directly west, I would move 1 tile west, but it's not. It is.
It is.
It is. I would actually move 1 tile west here.
Okay.
And we'll still get it. And just,
perfect.
That's good.
Okay, and now the thing comes into play where I said that I can actually finish the pasture and we'll actually get the yield. Sorry.
No, it's all good. All right, so we just so you know, you'd still get the production this turn.
Oh, okay. Is it happiness then?
Yeah, so it connects the horses immediately, which we could potentially sell if we'd met anyone to sell them to. We haven't, and we're at war with the Celts. The other thing is the happiness, the strategic resource, roads connect. Not for gold, they won't generate gold, but they will enable better movement of your units immediately. There's something else. It's slipping my mind. There's one other thing as well. The negative to doing this is that we've committed to that worker. And I mentioned earlier that hand axe. That hand axe can see us.
Yeah.
And I would guarantee that hand axe moves down towards us now.
Yeah, so that was a mistake on my end, yeah.
Probably, because we're not going to have a unit to protect the horse tile. And we're also going to struggle to settle near that camp now.
Yeah.
So it's fine, but I think it might be a small mistake.
Yeah, well, I mean, I definitely wouldn't have thought of it, but the way you explain it definitely makes sense. So yeah, sorry for being overly hasty here.
Nah, it's totally fine. It's totally fine. So I think it may have moved towards us anyway as well. It hasn't actually got a lot of choices in terms of where it's going to go.
I think it may have spawned.
It could go.
It may have spawned, right? Yeah, I think it spawned there.
Yeah, I think it. So there might be 1 tile. Yeah, it definitely did spawn there this turn. And I don't think barbarian camps act like cities where they give the free movement. So I think that hand axe may actually have no choice but to move to that towards us.
Yeah.
The other thing with that is that potentially it's not worth finishing the tile because it's going to get pillaged.
Yeah.
So we could have made the decision to leave it with 1 turn left,
And
then
onto the
just
iron.
yeah.
Okay.
Because it takes 2 turns to repair it, and obviously we'd have to come back and repair it. Whereas if we leave it on 1 turn, it's 1 turn.
It's 1 turn.
So.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So sorry for.
Oh. Nah, all good. All right.
That's
so
pretty unfortunate.
It's fine. So we take our ruin here.
Even brute.
Actually, just
picked up trapping.
Just nice. Doesn't immediately benefit us, but it's still a technology we got for free, so that's nice.
Yeah, it's not bad. All right.
So I think
so we can hit end turn and watch our scout blow up. I think we're fine.
Yeah, we actually got 100 gold from that caravan, so that's nice.
Yeah. All right. So, yeah, I think the worker goes under the warrior.
Okay. Could it actually go here, maybe?
So actually, I'm looking at 3 things. Mm-hmm. So I'm looking that this is a good one too. So the AI doesn't attack with scouts.
Oh, okay.
That's the way it's actually programmed. It will capture unescorted workers, but it doesn't prioritize them.
Mm-hmm.
It won't slam units. I have seen them take cities on very rare cases, but I think that's mostly because of their auto explore just takes them to the tile that the city's on. I don't think it's actually programmed to take cities. So I think we're actually the scout's not too impactful. The only thing it can really do is provide a flanking bonus.
Mm-hmm.
The second thing I'm looking at is that barbarian brute.
Yeah.
Which right now would one-shot our scout.
So we definitely want to move him here.
I'm thinking about actually zoning the brute off with the warrior. Okay. Because the other thing that I'm thinking about is the barbarian camp to the north, which is probably overdue to spawn a barbarian. So we could actually radar.
Yep.
And is there anything between the worker we just nicked and our capital? Yeah. Doesn't look like it.
I think the archer is still up here.
Yeah,
but
which is fine.
That, we should be good here.
And the hand axe we can see has moved towards us, I would assume, from the north.
Yeah, definitely did.
Yeah, yep. All right, that's fine. Okay. So we can move. So I'm thinking if we move the scout northwest of the warrior, so there, and that camp spawns a unit, our scout dies.
Yep.
That's almost a guarantee. So what I'm actually thinking of doing is moving the warrior 1 tile southwest.
Here?
Yep, and fortifying. And then moving the scout, there.
Right there. Oh, okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I wouldn't have thought of that, but that makes a lot of sense, yeah.
So one other thing to consider here is the order of operations with the unit movement. So the Celtic scout is going to move before the barbarian.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes you can ignore the barbarian because you know that it's going to die to a city-state shot, for example, which also happens before the barbarian moves.
Mm-hmm.
In this case, there's not really anything that can sort of educate the decision, but potentially that barbarian may not have been relevant because it would have been zone of controlled by a Celtic unit or something like that. But in this case, I think it is relevant. So, yeah. And we're happy enough to take the 1 hit from the brute.
Yeah,
that's fine.
Definitely. Okay. What do we do with our work and our other scout?
Yeah, so we're definitely improving the iron next. We just radar and make sure that there's no barbarians right next to the iron. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we're good. Yeah. Okay.
So.
And I would radar for that.
Yeah, it's here. It's here.
All right. I would just fortify in place, return, and just take a heal.
Yep. Okay. So I'm not quite sure on how we actually got another policy just now. Did we get one last turn? Or the turn before?
Did we? Was the ruin?
No,
we picked
it was
culture?
trapping. It was trapping. So I just thought about that.
I guess we were just due for an X policy.
Okay. It's almost always oligarchy, right?
Yeah, certainly. Since they patched it and they put oligarchy before your monument, you pretty much always have to take oligarchy.
Yeah.
You used to sometimes be able to greed the Wonder one aristocracy, but you really can't now. So it's basically just always oligarchy.
Yeah. And the scout actually moved away.
And we didn't even get hit.
Yeah, the brute actually attacked the scout. So
I'm really glad this has happened because it's actually really illustrated how you can abuse the AI in the super early game.
Yeah.
Like very, very early. Like we're on turn 21 here. I'd say probably about turn 25 is the latest I would try and pull something like this off, roughly. This is kind of the end point for when it can really happen. So we just want to run away from the camp towards our capital as much as we can. So that's a worker on that hill. And we're going to steal that as well with our warrior.
100%.
And I think... I'm just trying to think about what the workers' pathing for the city-state is. So it's finished that mine by now, I would almost guarantee.
Okay.
And it tried to move to the deer tile
directly west of the city.
Yeah. So unless the city-state has got the calendar technology, and the city-states get the technology when two players, either human players or AI players.
Is it? I always thought it's just one player.
No, yeah, so it's at least two.
Okay, good to know.
So we could block the calendar tile by moving onto it, or we could by not moving onto it, depending on what we want it to do. And what we actually want to try and set up here is multi-stealing.
So we don't want to make peace straight away.
Correct. If we put a unit within 2 tiles of the border of the cultural borders of the city-state that is not on a hill, the city-state can't see us, which means they'll move a worker within range.
So
which means we can.
What we could do is just my thoughts here is we could actually move our worker and our scout here, have the city-state worker probably go here since it can't go there, and then next turn, if the worker is actually over here, we can take it with our warrior and move the scout here and the worker so it doesn't get hit by the city, and then we can later on position the scout here in order to get the dice if they have not been improved yet.
Yeah. So my thinking too is that we want to steal on our side of the city-state rather than on the Celt side, because we still are at war with the Celts. And if we steal on the Celt side, then we could quite potentially be forced to peace the city-state. And I don't want to do that. So I think I want the worker to go onto the dies if possible.
Okay, so we don't go there, okay?
Yeah. So I would go, the scout goes, there.
The worker too, I guess, right?
Yep. Yeah, and then the warrior can go on the northern deer.
Yep, perfect. Okay, so we've now got a settler and a worker, and both of them unprotected. So what do we do?
But that's all right. We are compensating for that by radaring.
Yeah.
And what we're so we're being greedy here, is what it boils down to. We have 3 military units, and we have two workers and a settler. And we sort of, and one of our military units is just scouting the world. It really isn't contributing to anything else other than revealing tiles. So, yeah. But basically what we want to do is, the greedier we are, the early we are, the easier the game is, the longer it goes on. Okay. Now, could we get punished? Yeah. In fact, we are going to get punished a little bit. Our horse tile is going to get pillaged. And we're not going to... yeah, we're going to have to delay our settle here somewhat to... yeah, we're going to have to delay our settle here so that we don't get our settler stolen.
Okay.
We know that there's a barbarian wandering around somewhere near the sugar. So we can't radar. We can't raid. I'd be quite comfortable walking a settler unprotected towards that sugar, and radaring the whole way through.
Okay.
Now,
do we want to
with
settle
the unit
sugar,
there, we can start heading that way,
Mm-hmm.
but we're potentially going to have to turn around.
Yep.
So we also maybe don't want to do that. And then the other thing is that we've actually got a little bit of scouting to do towards the south of our city. And our settler's not doing anything right now. We could delay our settler for a turn or two so that we can move our warrior towards it.
Mm-hmm.
So what? And it's also safe from barbarians. We can see that they're coastal tiles south of those two tiles. So we could actually do just a tiny little bit of scouting with our settler here.
And just move it like here?
Yeah, just to either one of those two tiles.
I think.
We can. Yeah, I think either's fine, pretty much. Because I think we even want to go. Well, going on the wheat doesn't tell us anything because we can't settle there, and we can't actually fit a city between Kiev and Berlin, which is unfortunate. But it would be quite a. If we could settle that marble from the coast, we probably would, but we can't.
So.
So we can put one turn into our mine here, and then we're probably going to have to hide our worker in the city because that hand axe is coming.
It's going to move here, and then our work is in range.
Yeah. So one other option we have here, and we should have discussed this last turn, is we could have bought a unit. We could have actually bought a scout.
For 100 gold.
Yeah, and then we could have actually moved our settler towards the sugar now. But I wanted to settle the coastal city first.
Mm-hmm. So you mean up here?
Yeah, so somewhere near that camp.
Mm-hmm.
And the main reason I want to do that is to hedge against the AI. So we're already at war with the AI, so we need to be a little bit careful.
Mm-hmm.
If we went and planted a flat city towards them, they could quite easily just come and kill it.
Mm-hmm.
Now we've already been at war with them for 2 turns or so. So in 8 turns we can peace them. We don't have to peace them either. We can leave the war open for as long as we want until they actually threaten us, and then they'll still take white peace as long as they're not killing units. So the way it works is basically it's less likely to take peace if it thinks it's winning, and the way it thinks about its winning is whether it's killing units or whether its units are dying.
Mm-hmm.
And what we can do by that is we can peace block them. So we can leave it until as late as possible, then peace them, and then they get peace blocked, so they can't war deck us for 10 turns. And that 10 turns can be the time that we need to build, 4 units or something. So there's just that in mind. So I think what I'm actually considering doing with this settler is delaying the settle and building an archer to clear that camp, except we don't have archery tech yet, unfortunately. So what we're going to have to tech, and I don't think we can afford to tech for archery here. We need sailing.
Yep.
So what we'd have to build instead is a spearman.
With the overflow.
So yeah, if we
but
then we'll have to change it so we don't starve.
now we're stagnating, but yeah.
Yep. So we're stagnating. So I would change your focus back to food.
Yep. Point.
So we don't accidentally starve.
Okay.
That's my thinking.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. We definitely need a unit to go here. The thing is, the hand axe is going to block us, but it's going to move here, so maybe we could try to move around it. Don't know, but then again, if there's another unit spawning from the barb camp, it will probably go spawn here, so we could get blocked all over again. I think we
potentially. Sorry. I was gonna say we potentially need optics to settle this city as well.
Yeah. Makes sense, definitely. So we can go there via water.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. So
I'll just so the archer is actually here, so it shouldn't be able to see us.
are we on a hill? I'm actually not great with this.
We are.
Can it see us?
Almost moved there.
Oh, but it's not, right?
It's not on the hill, so that's why I think the view's obstructed by this.
I think you're right. Yeah.
Okay, now things get interesting. So did it move? It moved up to here.
I think we just have to wait again, unfortunately.
Yeah. Okay, so the hand axe moved here as predicted.
Yeah.
So what we do is move onto this tile.
Yeah, we probably want the farm more than the mine right now.
Okay.
Because I think either's fine, because we might be working that mine again for a settler in a second. Actually, I think the mine may have been slightly superior, but it's fine. Okay. So we've calculated this city-state's AI correctly, and we can move our other worker and our scout out of range.
Yep.
And then we can take.
Probably want to move here, right? Or.
I think either's fine, because we've radared the fog and there's no barbarian.
Yeah, I'm just concerned about the turns it would take. So it would take turns like this, and if we were to move here, 1, 2, it would take 3 turns either way. So we can just. I think I prefer moving here.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. And now we just war deck Kiev, right?
Yep. No reason not to. Yeah, great. So this city is going to be heavily delayed by this camp. So I'm thinking about settling the sugar anyway.
So if we were to settle the sugar, my immediate thought would have been here, because it would be in reach of 2 iron, and it's on the right side of the river from our perspective. At least, like, if they're probably going to come from here, so it is on the right side of the river.
Correct. Yep.
And it's on a hill, so there's marsh right here, which would even weaken units coming from that direction.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I had all the same thoughts. It's a mountain settle for an observatory.
Yep. Mountain River is always nice.
Mountain River Hill is the
dream.
That's the triple. That's perfect.
Yeah. Okay.
So I think the
question is, do we actually want to move here, or do we move here? I mean, where's the hand axe going to go? I think it's probably going to pillage this.
It's going to pillage, yeah. So I think that's fine. I think we can move. I think either's fine. I would probably go to the western tile just to be closer to our warrior.
Yep. Okay.
So we're probably going to delay a turn just so the warrior can catch up.
We got hit by the city state. It pillaged just as we anticipated. So we can shoot it here easily.
Yep.
Okay. Now, let me just radar real quick where this scout is. Did I just see it? It's probably here, right? Yeah, it is.
Equip. Yeah. Or it must be. Yep. So I think we just wait again. There's not much we can really do.
If it's here, we could move here, right?
Yeah. Yeah, we could.
It's a hill, so we get some information out of it at least, and we can just move.
Yeah.
Okay, we won't. We didn't get any information, lol. So we just move back, right? Or do we stay?
I think either's fine here. I think
Okay.
there's.
I'll just
We
fortify
could try and just we could just try and force our way past it.
Okay.
But it feels like there's a choke there, and it feels like we may not actually get past.
Yeah.
So I think moving back may be correct, so it doesn't see us.
Okay.
I think if it's
yeah,
can
it may just move in our direction. Here it probably can't see us. I'm not too sure. So just to be on the safe side, we'll move here.
Yeah.
Okay. So
I must admit.
Sorry. Yeah. Go.
No, I was gonna say that's one of the things I'm not great at. I struggle with the site mechanics. So there's a level system. So flat is the lowest, and then a hill or a forest or a jungle is the next, and then a forested hill or a jungle is the next. And you can see generally 2 tiles, but then you can see an extra tile if it's 1 level up, and then I think a mountain is the next highest, so you can see those even 1 tile further away.
Okay.
Yeah,
I have no idea. So I know like the basics, but no idea. Sorry.
No, that's all right. So I'm pretty sure what I've just explained is right, but I definitely don't give it as much attention as I should. So we can
move on to the wheat.
Yeah, I think the wheat's fine. Yep.
Okay.
And I think so. We can move the warrior north to escort. We actually want that scout to stay right where it is because it's going to multi-steal.
Okay.
So the
although it's going to slow us down, right? So
it is. Yeah.
We could move the scout onto the settler just for now. Move this up.
Is it? If we move the warrior directly north, west of the scout, I think we can meet the settler further up. And then I think it doesn't slow us down. Yeah. Something like that. I think we can do that.
Yeah,
and we can radar with the settler. And I think we're good. Yeah, so we're still going to be like half a turn or a turn behind. So I don't think we need to move all the way.
Yeah, that archer actually moved here, so we should be pretty good. Okay, so do I just move the settler here so that the worker can go here?
Yeah, so the worker just needs to be within 2 tiles of the hill that we want to improve, so it can go on either tile.
You're correct. So we can just let the settler stay in place.
Fine.
We can move this one up so it doesn't get shot or captured, and
we're confident with radar, so we can move the settler.
Probably to here, right?
So probably the only other thing we need to start thinking about on turn 23 is if the AI starts spawning horsemen, barbarians.
Yep.
So we haven't met a lot of players, so we're not going to be able to check the tech cost. And we have seen some players enter the classical era. Do the Celts have it?
I don't think they do, no. But
no, they don't.
They got optics.
So optics is always cheaper.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Apart from optics and compass, for anyone who doesn't know, all the texts that are in the same vertical line are the exact same amount. So they may have optics, they may not. We could check which age they're in, and that would tell us whether they have optics or not.
They are
so they're still in the ancient era.
So they don't. I didn't know that. Okay, thanks for the
no worries.
For the hint. Okay, so where do we move our settler then?
I think we be safe here, and we move on the deer towards the warrior.
Yep. Okay. Sounds good.
As I say, that is just because I'm not sure if a horseman could spawn yet, and if the risk reward is terrible, right? The reward for going greedy north is minimal, and the risk is massive.
Yeah, it's going to shave like 1 or 2 turns off our settle, so and losing a settler is almost game breaking in this early.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, they actually rushed Great Library. Who would have thought? Lol.
Yeah.
Okay, and I think since we got oligarchy, we shoot with our city first because it has a unit in it and it does increased combat strength, and then we just smash our spearmen into it, right?
Yeah, so the Oasis, if you stand on now, so as you do that, as you attack the thing, the little advisor menu on the bottom left isn't indicating that we get a negative penalty from the Oasis. But I believe if we move on to the Oasis, and we'll do this for...
Yeah, we'll do this for science, right?
Yeah, so if you move one tile and then do it, maybe Oasis
it's
isn't
defensive.
a negative penalty.
It's defensive strength. So if our if they would attack us, then we would receive a penalty. So I think that's why it's the same. Okay.
Yeah, you're right.
And of course we rolled the lowest and didn't actually get it, but that's just Civ.
That's just Civ. Yeah.
Okay. So we'll move this one up onto the hill. Yeah, the Hanse can't capture it. Should we actually move this worker up here already? But we don't even have we don't have the technique for neither clearing marsh nor calendar. So we'd need masonry and but to actually have a worker here that could potentially chop those forests and everything is worth it, right?
Yeah, I think we send it with the settler, yes. So, yeah.
The warrior here, settler onto the warrior, and probably on the marble, right?
Yeah, it's fine.
Perfect.
All right, let's see if we can get past.
Still. I mean, we could just move here, take a shot. And...
I think we try at this point. We're getting almost no benefit out of staying in place.
Yeah, and of course there's a choke point, so yeah.
Now it's just going to shoot us, but anyway, that's fine.
Okay, next research.
So you quite correctly pointed out that we need masonry into calendar to improve our sugar. So in a multiplayer game, I may consider actually settling on my sugar here so that I don't have to spend 8 turns improving it.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure I would do it. It gives up the observatory, which is a pretty big deal, and it also gives up the hill, which is a pretty big deal.
Exactly.
So it sucks, but I think we just have to suck it up and do it. The settler that we had queued up. Whoops.
Sorry, I just pressed. Sorry.
Nah, it's all right. It's a hard balance because I do want to keep things moving as well. So the settler that we've got queued up isn't going to do anything for us for a while because we need to clear the camp.
Yeah.
And we're actually going to go unhappy when we settle. So I think we actually want a fishing boat here.
Yep. I agree with you.
So
do we choose the experience or the health for the spearman at this point?
I think we want to save our insta heal. So I don't think we attack it here.
Okay.
So we can move back into the city and save our gold.
Yep, fair point.
Yeah, and we can just shoot it. Yeah, perfect.
And do I move on to the iron now?
So which tiles are we working?
Currently working those tiles.
Yeah, so I don't think we want to improve the mine that we're on right now.
Yeah.
I think we put 1 turn into the mine.
Here or on the iron?
The iron tile, I think we put 1 turn into it. So I think we actually want to move towards the horses. Because the iron improves in 3 turns. And the horses improve in 2 turns.
So, but do I have things right?
If we move to the oasis, we can improve the horses next turn.
Next turn, and otherwise it would take 2 turns. So it's beneficial for us to move onto the oasis, right?
Yeah, yep, definitely.
Okay.
All right, so we just need to radar again.
Yep. So there's 2 units up here. There may have been a barb camp that spawned there. 3 units, 4 units? No, no, it's properly, it's just because this tile's blocked, we can't move past, so it says that all those tiles are inaccessible.
Yeah.
So we know for sure that there's a unit here and here.
Correct, yeah.
Okay.
Alright, so that's fine.
What's the quickest way? This way. And I think it's the safest because it keeps us close to the mountain range.
Yeah, I agree.
Do this. Do we hide? There's no way.
Yeah, we have to. Yeah. We have to back up here. Yeah.
Over here. And I'll actually...
Yep, I think
Yeah,
that's the safest tile.
Now they
All
actually offered us. Do we refuse or do we keep it?
I think we refuse here because we don't need to piece yet.
Yep.
So this is abusing the piece mechanic that I was talking about.
Yeah.
So we don't need to piece here, and we can piece later, and it will buy us extra time.
Yep.
Yep. So we can get our horses online. Yeah.
That's the correct move. Where do we want our worker to be? So there's actually a unit here now.
Yeah.
So there's
actually 3 units,
there's
right?
3 units up there.
So they may be cultish units. So if we move there, whatever's that unit there is going to be able to see us. And it's probably going to move towards us. And that's actually fine because it's going to move onto the marsh tile.
Yeah, it will take 2 turns for them,
Yeah, but we'll get our city down before it matters. Okay. So I think just check to the west, make sure that there's nothing there. Yep, and it looks safe. So I think we can move onto that hill.
Yep.
And I think we're deliberately choosing to bait that barbarian towards us there.
Yep.
Like that's a deliberate choice.
Okay, there goes religion. Yep. Celts.
Okay, so
what did they pick?
It's definitely worth checking. All right, so let's pick 2 things that we don't care about. Yeah. They're both terrible.
Yeah, they are.
All right, so yeah, we can move our settler up.
Yeah, it's actually 3 units.
Wow.
That's oof.
All right. So there are probably instances where that was enough to kill us. 2 archer shots and a spearman.
Yep.
It's actually going to be pretty close.
I think so too.
So I think what we do is we again bait with the worker by moving onto the sugar.
Yep.
And that will encourage a barbarian to move towards it and try to take it.
Yep.
I tell you what, if we lose this settler right here, we're going to look like absolute morons.
Well, yeah, this is actually a pretty bad constellation to be in.
Yeah, I think we're okay, but I think it's going to be pretty close.
Yep, I think so.
There's also the order of operations. So if the barbarian brute slams first, our brute could die, but we'll still get our warrior could die, but we'd still get the settle off. And as much as that sucks, it would be acceptable to sack a unit to get the city down here.
Yeah.
So
let's just cross our fingers, right?
Yeah. I believe the units operate in the order that they spawned, which we have no knowledge or control over.
So I think this one of those archers, and I think it's this one, spawned from back here. So it may shoot first.
Yeah, I believe that's how it works. So we're going to find out.
Yep, we are.
All right.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
That just happened. Wow, that's really unfortunate. So this is like terrible. The worst case scenario right here.
Yeah, and I don't think that we could. I don't think that we could not move there, to be honest.
Yeah, and even if we couldn't have known without moving there that there were 3 units there that actually we knew that they were there, but we weren't sure whether or not they were barbarians and everything.
Oh wow. I guess we could have moved the warrior there and then decided to not move the settler there.
Yeah.
All right. So let's move the scout back towards the camp. The one that's sort of yeah, that one. And then
move our spear up.
Yeah, we're gonna have to move the spearman up as well. Yep, unfortunately.
And we have to move the worker here.
And we can go. Yeah, we just radar and make sure. Oh man,
that's pretty unfortunate.
Okay. It is. I guess it was too greedy when we knew there were 3 units there.
Probably, yeah. Yes.
So we, always try to learn from our mistakes, and I think the mistake there is it was just too greedy. Maybe we should have settled on the flat tile.
Here, yeah.
Yeah. All right, that's fine. We'll deal with it.
Yep.
We're gonna. So I think, yeah, that's fine. And then, yeah, that looks good. And then I think we're gonna need an archer as well to clear this camp.
For which we don't have the tech yet.
Yeah, and actually, specifically because the camp has an archer in it, I think we can actually afford a spearman. Do we want the spearman before the fishing boat?
I mean, we aren't going to be unhappy here, right? Because we don't settle, obviously.
Yeah, correct. And we're also not going to be working the tile the fishing boat improves. So I think we actually just want the spearman first.
Yep, so too. And then we want, do we just leave masonry at 1 turn and go into archery straight? Because it would, with the timing, spearman 4 turns and archery 4 turns?
Yeah, I think that's fine. We're not going to need masonry now.
Yeah.
It's going to delay our optics for our lighthouse potentially, but I don't think we're going to build an archer. 2 spearmen and a scout. So I think we can just go masonry calendar.
Okay. So then
if the unit inside the camp wasn't an archer, we'd be in an even worse spot right now. The other thing we got to be real careful of is that the Celts don't come and clear the camp and take our settler.
The thing is, if the unit was a brood, we actually would probably still have our settler and our unit, right? Because it would have only been shot once and actually taken by and attacked by the brood, because back here it couldn't have attacked us in the camp, the unit.
Yeah, that's true too. All right.
Okay. Yeah. Well.
All right. That's fine. Well, hey, this shows that we're not cheating.
Yeah.
We didn't re-roll our start 10 times, and we're
very, very, very transparent of us. Okay. So we just move this guy straight up, right?
Yeah. Yep.
And move this guy straight down. Lol.
Just radar that tile. Yep. We're good.
Obviously can't radar with this guy. Yeah.
No, we can't radar in there either, unfortunately. Oh, we can, because it's thinking that the fog of war is... Yep, alright, that's fine. So, yeah, see how it's trying to pass through the fog of war?
Yeah, it thinks that there's a path, so...
Yeah.
Do we improve the farm here, or actually go for the mine?
Which are we working at the minute?
So
we've got an extra food because we improved the farm.
Mm-hmm.
So we could actually afford to unwork 1 food if there was a way to do that, but there's not. I think either's fine here. We're going to run out of tiles to improve in a second.
Yeah, so I'll just improve this one right here.
Yeah.
Okay, so we go into calendar then. Okay, this scout's done. Question is, do we actually move up onto the hill here?
So I don't want a unit to spawn on the scout side.
Yep.
That would be annoying, because I want to move the scout in to provide a flanking bonus.
Mm-hmm.
On the flip side, if we move it in right now, they're going to start shooting it, and it will die before it can provide.
So we'll take it
now. We just
right?
for now we just have to fortify and hope. Yeah, and that can go in.
Looking good.
Yeah, we can move that back.
You finish up this farm, the mine. Take legalism here. That's pretty safe.
Yeah, that's pretty much always going to be the choice.
That's going to provide us with our free monument, and this is going to accelerate our border growth in our cities greatly, because border growth is calculated via culture. So now we've got 2 more culture. Is it 2 or 3?
Yeah, 2.
2, yeah, 2. So we got 1 culture from our palace and 2 from our monument. So now we have way more culture to rely on. It's not way more culture, but we had 4 per turn last turn, and now we've got 6. So it's pretty.
As a percentage, it's massive.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, I think that's...
I'm just debating whether we should move this scout towards the camp as well. We've got 3 workers.
Yeah, I think it may be worth it, and we could still go here if they were going to improve this, and they're going to improve the flat tundra very late. So I think we could be... It would make sense to actually go there now.
Yeah, I think so too.
So now the question is, where are the units? They're here. I don't think there's actually a 4th unit here. Our worker just thinks that it can't get through there.
Yeah, I think you're right.
So we'll just move it back, right?
Yeah, that's fine.
Do we actually move the spearman now? I don't think we do. I think we... Oh.
I think we have to wait for reinforcements.
So we move the scout up. Move him
Yeah.
here maybe? It won't make a difference because we will take...
Yeah.
We can just...
It's funny, we were talking about greed early on and getting punished.
Yeah.
We did. But I think the only thing that was greedy was the very last move onto that tile.
Yep, 100%.
We should have moved the warrior first so we had sight.
Yep.
And then we should have made a decision about whether we thought we'd survive and
yep, definitely.
whether we should settle.
Okay, so second spearman coming up now.
Yeah.
And
so we can just improve that farm, and then the other worker can go on the other mine. Yeah. All right. So I think we wait one more turn.
Yep, and then move in.
Yeah. So we finished that working boat, which I think is fine.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, but we said we didn't want a scout as of yet.
Yeah, I think that's fine now.
Okay. So do we just improve the whales? I think whales is the more sensible tile,
correct.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's a better tile. So we want to prioritize the 3 food, 1 gold over 2 food, 2 gold tile.
Yep, definitely.
All right, so we can yeah, are we gonna build
maybe a trireme? Probably not
yet.
Yeah, probably not.
Because I think. All right, so I think we can move in with our scout and our spearman. So I would provide a flanking bonus with the scout. And then I would slam the brute. Yeah, and then I would just fortify the scout right where it is. I doubt the brute's gonna slam it over a river, even though it's on a marsh tile. And then
we still leave the scout here because we aren't close to the camp yet, right?
Yeah, I think we wait one more turn, or maybe even 2. So. Yeah, I guess we can improve that tile. We're probably never going to work it. But so then the question with our other spearmen is, are we going north or are we going to zone out this other camp? Yeah,
that's a good question. I think we should prioritize our efforts on getting our settler back because they're still... Wait, let me just check because I think... Yeah, there are still 2 archers back here.
Yeah. Yep, alright, I'm good with that.
Okay, there's that archer, and it actually did slam, which is pretty good for us.
It's probably a good thing. So there's an interesting sequencing thing we can do here.
Okay.
We don't need to take this promotion yet.
We can attack first and take it then, right?
And then take it later. Yep. So first thing, let's move the eastern scout in so that we can see.
Yep,
alright, so we've got 2 archers. So if we slam with the spearman, we're going to take how much damage? Approximately 20. And then the archers are going to do, I don't know, 15 each roughly. So the only chance we have of dying is if the camp spawns a unit this turn, which could happen. So
yeah,
there's one. We could move the scout onto the tile, the hill, so that it can't. If it does spawn a unit, it can't slam the spearman.
Here, you mean?
If we attack with a spearman first, then we won't be zona controlled and we'll be able to move.
Yeah.
But then we could also potentially lose the scout.
Yep. So I'll just move up this spearman for now, right? Because that's a safe.
I'm glad we bought it.
Yeah. Okay.
The other thing we could do is just wait a turn. Although this brute's never going to slam us now because it would die.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to have to slam it one way or another.
Yeah. So we'll just go for it.
I think we go for it. Yeah.
And take the turn the heal next turn, hopefully.
Yeah, correct. And then inevitably we're going to get punished, and they're both going to high roll, and our spearman's going to die.
Yeah, and it's going to spawn a spearman. Yeah.
yeah. And we're going to look like complete noobs.
Yeah, but I mean, we're still already kind of there. So.
Yeah. Turn 34, and we don't have an expand down yet. It's pretty bad.
It's not going too well. But I mean,
No.
there will always be mistakes. So I think it's actually nice to see them in such a format as well. So
Yeah.
okay, what do we take for research? Do we actually take optics now?
I think we want optics.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because
the lighthouse.
Yeah, those 4 tiles are going to be workable.
All right, here we go. Goodbye, spearman.
No, it's actually. So now we take the instant heal.
Absolutely.
And move in, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And then we move in, and then I think we
can attack with a scout, weaken it. I think.
I would wait 1 turn.
Okay.
Because I want to know, because we've still got 1 more turn of exposure. If it spawns a unit that isn't a trireme or a galley, we could be in some trouble. And then I would move the other scout onto the iron. I would radar first, and then I would probably move on to the iron.
Why not slam the scout into the archer to weaken it?
We're going to be standing on a march tile.
Yeah, good point.
So I think, yeah, we can probably do it next turn.
Yep. So we're actually going to finish a settler next turn. Do we want that?
I think that's fine. I think we could make the same decision, or we didn't make the decision last time, is we could consider buying a scout so that we can escort it
also consider to actually work the correct tiles when we're producing a settler. Yeah, I totally forgot that as well.
Nah, it's all good. I missed it as well. Yeah. So we could buy a scout this turn, which means that we could start moving our settler off immediately. That said, a scout's not going to be able to push through a barbarian if that camp spawns another barbarian.
Yeah.
So it's kind of... Yeah, and the other thing, we got 8 turns on optics, which is a bit slow to settle via optics.
Yeah.
I think we need to like try and boost our game here after. So I think we do buy the scout.
Yep, okay. And finish the settler next turn and both move them north. Okay.
Yeah, yep.
I can get behind that. Oh, they want to piece us again?
What we can do here, it's probably worth it at this point, and this may have been a reason to trade away to improve the pearls instead of the whales. Is that salt still there?
Yeah, we could have traded it, yeah.
But that's fine. I think let's see if they'll take horses and iron. So for so if they'll want 5 in total, so we could give them like whatever's fine. Yeah, I probably want to give them horses over iron so they don't build a stack of Pictish warriors and upgrade them into swordsmen and then come and kill us.
So 4 and 1?
Yeah, I think that's best, and then we'll see if they'll take salt. Yep.
They don't.
Yeah, that's fine. They only want white piece.
So if you refuse.
Yeah, we can just refuse. Yeah. And then next turn, like 3 Pictish warriors are going to turn up, and we're going to take peace immediately.
Yeah. Okay, so this is where we want to settle, right? Yep.
Yeah, it's either going to be that tile or 1 back. We'll
see. Yeah.
And we can send 1 of our workers after that settler.
Yep. I mean, it's not. We can still wait 1 more turn, right? because it's we can. We've got actually something else we should do is the other worker we should send north to our other settler. Yep.
Just radar.
Oh yeah, should have radared. Yeah, should have radared.
You're brave.
Yeah. No, it's foolish. It's foolish. Rather. Okay. So I'm going to finish this mine here. The question is.
So we want to move up
Yeah.
and deny the camp from spawning a unit. If it spawns a unit, we could still be in trouble.
Yeah.
And then what's the slam on the archer worth here? And what's the XP on the scout?
6 out of 10.
So we'll get an insta heal. So I think we do that now. Yeah. I think we slam.
We can just put 1 more turn into this.
Fine.
And what are we going to produce now?
All right, so we're done on settlers for now. I don't see a 4th city.
Yeah.
I'm not super keen on settling the marble yet.
Yeah.
I think we can settle it after National College.
Yeah, that's reasonable.
So I think 3-city National College is very strong. It's very fast. And we've got late cities already, so I don't think we want to fall.
Definitely do. So maybe a granary?
Yeah, so I think so the tiles we're working are good. How long until we get optics for our lighthouse?
7 turns.
All right, so we need a workboat because we're going to need to improve pearls.
Yep.
So
that would actually work perfectly with a granary.
I think I think we go workboat granary.
Yep.
Because I think we're potentially we've got 6 happiness, so we can probably actually greed granary workboat.
Yep. Okay.
So we'll have 2 spare happiness to settle. Hang on, I'm just thinking we're going to settle both cities quite soon. Maybe we don't have time. I changed my mind.
Okay.
I think we do need the workboat first.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, there's our insta heal.
Yeah, we just take that
and slam.
Yeah.
And it actually did spawn a unit, I think.
Yeah, so if we had have slammed the camp last turn instead of moving in, potentially would have spawned something like a spearman. Yeah, that would have been the worst case.
Yeah, definitely. We attack with the healthy one first, or with the?
Yeah, correct. Yep. So the way the damage calculation works, that's superior. Okay. And I think if we go spearman next and then scout, do we get it? I think we do.
Yep.
And is that?
Yep. Yeah. Unless we really low badly. Yeah, I would have liked an archer out of that camp, but yeah, can't.
Yeah, so would have I.
No. Okay, and we just
it can't be helped.
We move this guy here, so it's
just radar.
Yeah.
And then yeah,
I'm not used to doing all that much radar in multiplayer since you've got limited time, but in single player it's very, very important.
Yeah, I mean the other thing is that in multiplayer, I would move that scout an extra tile.
So we can get there next turn. Yeah, I think that's worth it.
Yeah,
that's worth it. Okay, now we move this guy up and have this guy improve this, right?
Yeah.
So we may be back on our feet here. At least soon we will.
Yeah, I think we're fine. Yeah, we can move back here. All right, so I think we can greed a promotion on that spearman.
Yeah.
The other thing is that we could actually just take the insta heal and get back into the game as quick as possible. Yeah. So I'm actually thinking insta heal.
Yeah.
Because then we can kill the archer and we can move the scout south to go and try and multi-steal as soon as possible.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
Yep.
Okay. Do we move this guy around?
Yeah, I think we can do that because we're going to piece the Celts pretty soon here, I think. Yeah. So even if we run into that again.
Also, it didn't spawn, which is actually pretty good. So we can secure that tile.
Yeah, that would have been really bad if we had another one spawn there.
And move up here. And move up here. And move here.
We can move.
And we can actually already start removing the marsh. Yeah.
We can head south to Kiev too. Yeah.
And then we can already move this guy here.
Yeah, that's fine.
No danger from here. Yeah, perfect. Looking good so far.
It's looking okay. Yeah. So that we recovered about as well as we could hope to.
Okay.
Yeah, that looks good.
Heal for a turn. What's the best procedure for this spearman up here?
I would just move into a tile that's going to be in our borders so that we can heal up. Yeah, I think either one's fine.
Let me just radar real quick. I think the archer may be here, so wouldn't be able to hit us. Oh no, it's actually a barb camp, obviously.
All right, and that's something else worth noting is they've started spawning horsemen.
Yeah.
So we actually need to stop with the greedy unescorted stuff.
Did we actually play greedy in this game? I don't think we did. No, I don't think so.
Greedy's very relative, right?
Yeah. We lost the settler, so that was pretty greedy, I think. Okay. Move this settler up, move this guy up, fortify, and improve the pearls, right?
Yeah. And this work is exposed to a horseman right now. From either the city-state or from that camp, potentially.
So it's better to move it here, right?
I think we just move it into the city.
Into
improving that tile right now is not super relevant.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, we're not going to work any of those tiles too soon.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
Okay. Scout actually. I think I'd rather.
I would go. Yep, that's fine.
Oh, that's a very late Pantheon.
Yeah, we don't even have a shrine yet.
Yeah.
So we got to settle this blind. We don't know which tile's better.
Yeah.
If we settle in place, we get. Do we get 4 river tiles?
We do, yes.
We do. We get 4 river tiles from behind the mountain.
Only 2.
And it's going to be an absolute nightmare to improve them, but we can if we have to.
I mean, we may actually settle a potential 4th city up here if we choose to not settle a marble. I mean, if we've got a city here, it's not the end of the world to have another city here, I think. But
yeah,
I think we'd need more information over here, definitely.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think we potentially can settle the spices. It looks pretty safe.
Yeah.
So that's an argument against settling in place. The other argument is that we will get the
camp cleared.
The chop. We'll get the chop. So we're settling on a forest that we won't be able to chop if we settle in place.
Yeah.
We're clearing the camp, but we don't get the Germany bonus if we clear the camp by settling.
But how realistic is it for us that we're going to clear that camp with the scout anytime soon? Even if the city takes shots at it, it's going to take at least 5 or 6 turns.
Yeah, I think 5 or 6 turns is fine. I don't think that we've got... Okay. We need to get through.
Okay.
The other thing is that we're potentially picking up additional coastal tiles by moving 1 tile to the east.
Oh. So
Can't see in there.
I'm in favor of moving.
I think I am too.
Okay.
I think both are defensible decisions, but I like moving.
So do we actually move here now? I don't think we do.
We get past a horseman.
So we'll have to
turn around. I would even turn around and go back to the city.
Maybe even here.
Yeah, and we can go scout the world. We've done quite poorly in meeting other players.
Yeah, we have. So I'll just settle in place here, right? Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt you. Please go ahead.
Yep, absolutely. Settle. And we can afford a granary here because we've already got a worker.
Yeah.
And we've... Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, what are we going to do with this guy? We can just send him here, right? We're not going to do anything else with him for right now.
We can improve. I think either of the farms to the east are fine. I think it's just that tile that I was a little bit worried about. But even next turn will be fine because the scout will be back. Yep, so we want to move up and do the chop first there.
Okay. Just heal. Yeah. Heal this guy fully.
Yeah.
And I'll just... I think the work is back in the city.
Yeah, we're probably not getting another steal, which is fine.
Yeah. Okay, so we can.
I think we're okay.
Yeah, we're okay moving there right now. Yeah, there goes Colossus. So much for that.
Yeah, unfortunately, even in an expand, the AI can quite easily get it before we can. They had a capital coastal. So.
Okay, so I'll just settle here. Fingers crossed. It's not. We may be picking up something here. I think it was the right decision to move here.
I think so too.
Okay, we'll chop here.
Yeah.
And granary? Probably.
Yeah, we can afford a granary here. We've got a worker. And we can actually, we can start killing units. That's good. We can farm site promotion on our scout too.
Yep.
So I would slam here. And that's fine.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Just imagine us losing this scout as
we
well.
We may need to piece here. We can move in with the scout so we can see.
It did improve. So their worker may have been stolen by the barb camp down here. So we could potentially multi-steal here. Just at least one more worker. Probably.
Yeah, and we're also not too interested in a cultural ally this early. Because the way that the cultural policies work, we want to finish tradition as quickly as possible, which would be good for a cultural ally.
Yep.
But then we don't want to spend excess policies in our filler policies before rationalism. And even though we're at war here, our influence with the city-state is still improving. So when we do ultimately peace them, you'll notice that it'll jump right back up. The only real opportunity cost of being at war is that we can't be given quests while we're at war. So, and there's a certain amount of time after you peace them before they'll give you a quest as well. So we're potentially losing out on like the clear that camp quest, for example.
But I think the Celts are going to clear it eventually. So.
Yeah, it's pretty unlikely that we get it. I agree.
Okay, so I'll construct this farm here. We just stay in place. We actually healed, so maybe take one of those spearmen up here.
I actually want to come south. I think we can scout via Munich.
Yep. Okay.
That area. So I actually wanted to bring the spearmen south to one to go into our capital, so it doesn't cost us gold.
Yep.
And 2, we might go and look at clearing that camp at some point and try and generate another unit.
Yeah. Should we let this guy heal for one more turn? I think we should.
I'd let him heal, yeah. And then the scout can come back.
Yep.
And then we can, 2 things we need to do. We need to fix our production focus in our capital and in our new city.
Yep. Didn't manage.
And then I think we can actually work the horses in Munich. So I think in Berlin...
We don't need them as of yet?
Yeah, we can work the whales. And now that we've... and now we can work the horses.
Let me just... Yeah, it doesn't shave a turn of our granary either way. Yeah, so that's...
And the other thing is, look how much of an impact that is on Munich.
Definitely.
Because Munich's the weakest city, it's a greater percentage of its hammers.
Yeah.
So I think it's definitely worth doing. The other thing is, I think that it's turned 40. Let's check our Celts military score again.
Urge you to sue for peace and healing.
Right, that's fine. And if we go to the demo screen, are they number 1?
No, they aren't.
That's fine. So the other reason to be at war with the AI is that we're gimping the AI. So it's over prioritizing military units right now instead of city. And it's doing nothing with those units, right? We haven't seen a single unit since we left. So we have to balance that up with the fact that we now have pearls that we want to trade with the AI for salt. So I think we're at the point we actually want to peace and trade for...
Oh, they only have 1 copy left now.
Yeah. All right, that's fine. So we might as well just leave it. They should connect another one at some point.
Yeah, finish the job. It takes 2 turns off of our granary, which is nice.
Yeah.
We finish clearing the marsh here, so we can actually improve it next turn, start improving it next turn.
Yeah.
And we move this guy towards the camp, right?
Yeah, and I think the other spearmen as well. And we can move the scout in the city to save gold.
This guy can heal
just
for a
heal
turn.
here. We could lose that scout to a horseman, but I think it's worth the risk. All right, and that actually brings to the end the ancient era.
So yeah.
So we're gonna put a break in here, guys, and we're gonna see you all in the next part. So I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for hanging out. Really appreciate you guys taking the interest in our content. I hope it's been enjoyable and informative. I hope you will learn our lesson from moving a settler within the range of 3 barbarians simultaneously. And I hope there's been other lessons for you as well.
Yeah, thank you very much for watching.
We'll see you in the next part, guys.
Yeah, hopefully.